You've done the work, you've faced your past, but still, you find yourself stuck in patterns that feel like a familiar nightmare. You think you're healing, but are you just perpetuating the trauma response patterns of your childhood? It's time to confront the possibility that emotional neglect has left an invisible scar, shaping your relationships and decisions without you even realizing it. You may have grown up in a household where your parents were preoccupied with their own struggles, or perhaps they just didn't know how to show affection. Whatever the reason, emotional neglect can be incredibly painful, especially when it happens behind closed doors. It's like living in a fog that seeps into every aspect of your life. Imagine being a child and constantly second-guessing whether you've done something wrong, only to have a parent dismiss your feelings or change the subject. This can create a pattern where you learn to suppress your emotions, not just as a child, but as an adult too. As you navigate relationships, this suppressed emotionality can manifest in people-pleasing and overthinking. You might find yourself constantly trying to read others' minds, anticipating their needs before they even say them out loud. Or, you might be consumed by self-doubt, questioning every decision you make. But here's the thing. These patterns are not just a product of your adult life. They're a direct result of what happened in those formative years. The silent suffering of emotional neglect can lead to feelings of shame and inadequacy that persist well into adulthood. As we've been exploring the impact of emotional neglect on our lives, it's essential to acknowledge that unresolved childhood trauma can leave a lasting legacy, one that affects not just our relationships, but also our ability to trust ourselves and our choices. Think back to times when you felt triggered by someone or something from your past. Maybe it was a specific word, tone of voice, or even the smell of a particular place that suddenly brought on feelings of anxiety, fear, or self-doubt. You know that feeling when you're lying awake at night, replaying every conversation from the day in your head. You're rehashing what you said, what someone else said back to you, analyzing every possible outcome, until the sun starts rising outside your window. This constant overthinking is a symptom of trauma's presence in our lives. When we experience trauma, our brain becomes wired to scan for potential threats. It's like having a perpetual alarm system on high alert. And it doesn't just stop at the initial event. It can create a ripple effect, making us hyper-aware of even the smallest perceived slights or criticisms. You may think you're a people person, always putting others first, sacrificing your own needs for the sake of harmony. But what drives this endless cycle of giving? Often, it's not generosity or kindness, but a deep-seated fear of rejection and abandonment. As we explore the complex web of trauma response patterns, it's essential to understand that high-functioning depression is not just about feeling sad or overwhelmed. It's often a sophisticated coping mechanism designed to keep us safe from emotional pain. Think of it as an invisible shield, protecting us from feelings of rejection and abandonment. For Sarah, a successful business owner in her late 20s, high-functioning depression manifested as a relentless drive for perfection. She would put in 12-hour days, pushing herself to meet unrealistic expectations, only to collapse into bed at night, exhausted but still unable to relax. Her mind was constantly racing with what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. But Sarah's outward success belied the underlying fear that drove her behavior. Deep down, she was convinced that if she wasn't perfect, she would be rejected and abandoned by others. This fear fueled a never-ending cycle of self-doubt and anxiety, which in turn perpetuated her high-functioning depression. It's this hidden dynamic that we need to recognize and confront if we want to break free from its grip. You see, trauma response patterns are like an old familiar map that we've grown accustomed to navigating our lives by. They're the automatic behaviors, thoughts, and emotions that kick in whenever we're faced with a situation or person that triggers a past hurt. But here's the thing. This map isn't set in stone. You have the power to change its route, to add new roads and landmarks, to even throw it away altogether. As we close this chapter on trauma response patterns, remember that healing isn't about erasing the past or pretending it never happened. It's about recognizing its impact and using it as a catalyst for growth. By acknowledging the roadblocks in your life, you can start to clear them away and create new paths forward. The journey may be long, but it's yours to take at your own pace. And when you're ready, I'll be here to walk alongside you.